Welcome to an overview on the Art of Telling presentation. My name is Gary Tomlinson, and this is one of my favorite presentations to share with audiences. The Art of Telling is professional speaking education for professionals in everyday use. The business person today who can communicate clearly with others, whether one-on-one, one-on-five, or one-on-500, has enormous power. There's a world of difference between talking to others and communicating with others. Effective communication is a million-dollar skill, a path to success in all areas of our life, both personal and professional. Every day we're required to share information, explanations, changes, ideas, directions, and viewpoints to others in our lives. To be successful, to be a top achiever, the ability to persuade and speak clearly with a focus that spurs others to action is vital. Men and women who use the spoken word powerfully are the men and women who change the world. They change our world. Effective communication is the key to both professional and personal success. And who in a leadership role is exempt from the need to prompt others to think, feel, and act as they desire? We're all engaged in this effort of persuasion from the time we're born until we draw our last breath. The miracle of communication is that we communicate as well as we do. Think about the intricacies of our egos, our beliefs, self-images, and backgrounds. Add to this our uniqueness of our experience, our assumptions, biases, and then think about language and cultural differences, regional speech patterns, and semantics. So let's begin with the most obvious and basic assumption. People are different. People think, act, and respond differently. People have a different pace, tone, and ways at looking at the world. People naturally assume that others think, feel, and view the world the same way they do. And because of that, people will communicate with others in a way that's consistent with their own style, which is why they often fail to communicate. And rapport with others happen much quicker when we understand their style and change our style to mirror them. We typically communicate with others through four basic means: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And although we're taught the traditional 3 R's, that's reading, writing, and arithmetic in school, most of us didn't receive any formal education about how to listen effectively or how to express ourselves constructively while interacting with others. Seldom are these interpersonal channels of communication a part of the curriculum in basic education. Yet listening and speaking skills are critical elements for people to not only better understand one another, but to better work with one another. To communicate successfully, one must be able to combine both active listening and assertive speaking. Assertive speaking is the act of expressing yourself directly, being positive, and with confidence so that your point comes across clearly and so that you maintain respect towards others. Active listening is the act of providing nonverbal and verbal feedback to a speaker that allows his or her message to be expressed and shows understanding of that message. Now here's what audience members will learn in my Art of Telling presentation. First, they'll learn about the 3 satisfactions that all presenters want from their listeners. 2, they'll learn about the 5 satisfactions that all listeners want from the presenters. It's these satisfactions that are the essence of effective communication. Next, they'll learn about active listening skills. They'll learn how to be an effective listener. When you learn how to listen well, you'll be amazed at how many people think you're a great conversationalist for no other reason than you listen to them. You'll also learn about traits of effective speakers. These are the traits to make your own when you present. But you'll also learn about traits of ineffective speakers, and these are the traits to avoid. Audience members will also learn what defines your image. Our image is defined by our verbal, which is the words we use, our vocal, which is how we say those words, and our visual, how we look when we're saying them. If you were to assign percentages to each of these 3, what would your answers be? You might be shocked when you hear the correct percentages. I know that I was. All of us have the ability to communicate, to present effectively. So in this presentation, you'll also learn what makes up your toolbox. And finally, you'll learn about the 6 delivery skills to make your own. Now here's my promise to you. What an amazing and dramatic difference the ability to communicate, to present, makes in our lives. The better prepared you are, the better you use your tools, the more effective you'll be in communicating with others. The skills and the tools needed for a well-tuned presentation, they're in our reach. However, the realities are we all have to work and polish these skills. Most of us won't pay the price. But for those who do, I promise the reward is enormous. If you're interested in an art-telling presentation for your organization, association, or civic group, give me a call at 919-847-6235 or email me at gary@gary-tomlinson.com. This informative, interactive, and entertaining presentation can be custom designed to meet your needs. Thank you for taking your time to watch this overview on the art of telling. I hope you'll remember that there's a world of difference between talking to others and communicating with others, because we're all engaged in this effort of persuasion from the time we're born until we draw our last breath. And it's important to remember that nothing is so simple that it can't be misunderstood. I'll now leave you with this quote by Cam Marston.